Arthur grabbed the woman's hand and pressed it toward the meat grinder, forcing her father to give up the answer. When the man refused to talk, Arthur lost patience too. Once he got the information, Arthur finally turned off the grinder. He looked down and saw that the girl's hand was perfectly fine. It turned out he had thrown a chunk of meat into the machine instead. He never planned to actually hurt her. The address, 300 Colby Square, wasn't random. It was the home of Arthur's former boss. This was all about revenge. You see, Arthur had been the top hitman in the business. One day, his boss gave him an assignment: kill his trusted partner, Harry, who was supposedly a traitor. Following the assassin's code, Arthur completed the mission, but he later learned the truth. The real traitor was the boss, and Harry had discovered it. So the boss manipulated Arthur into eliminating Harry. When Arthur realized he'd been used, he was furious and vowed revenge. That's how the whole interrogation started. Not long after, the boss received a call. It was Arthur. Terrified, the boss assumed Arthur was already inside the building and immediately called for a team of bodyguards to escort him out. What he didn't know was that Arthur wasn't in the building. He was waiting downstairs. Arthur had planted a camera at the parking garage entrance and sat in his car, waiting. When the boss's convoy emerged, he rammed the rear vehicle, flipped it over, stepped out, and shot down a few rookie guards. Then he climbed into a massive truck and charged straight toward the boss's car. Meanwhile, Arthur's apprentice, Steve, came in from the opposite direction with a city bus, crashing into the front of the convoy and forcing the boss's car to stop. The vehicle was flipped. Arthur and Steve dragged the boss out and riddled him with bullets, finally getting their revenge and releasing all their rage. On the way back, Arthur told Steve he was ready to retire from the killing world and start a new life, but Steve didn't agree. His father had died, and deep inside, he still carried a burning rage. Now that he had mastered the skills of killing, he wanted to keep hunting down truly evil people to calm that hatred. Arthur respected his choice. They stopped at a gas station. Steve got out to refuel, but suddenly he quietly pulled the nozzle out of the tank, letting gasoline pour out. Then he stepped aside, pulled out a gun, and fired, causing an explosion that killed Arthur inside the car. What just happened? Turns out, not long ago, Steve had found a pistol in Arthur's storage room. It was the exact weapon his father used to carry. Steve was heartbroken. His father's killer was his own mentor. But grief quickly turned to fury. He made up his mind to avenge his father.